Welcome to the Only Pod with Juniper Jack.
Nobody calls me that. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with the Only Pod. We're your hosts, Lupe, Jack, Micha.
Hey.
And we are joined today by our lovely guest, Katelyn.
Hello.
Welcome.
Good to be here.
Yes.
So, Katelyn, how did you get started on this journey of yours?
All right. Are you ready?
We're just diving straight in.
Cold turkey.
Wow. Okay. So, my husband was working on the Howard Stern show, and we decided to try swinging. And we had both swung in the past, but not
Like baseball?
like partner swapping, like swinging, like sex. And we had bad experiences, but we were like, you know what? 6 years or something into our relationship, let's just try it. So we started talking about our adventure from the beginning until Brent left the Stern show about swinging. So we left, moved back down to Tampa, and all these people, all these fans from the Stern show were like, you should get an OnlyFans, you should get an OnlyFans. And at first I was like a little annoyed because we were talking about swinging, and I was like, of course, leave it to them to take it to the next level. And like, how is swinging and talking about swinging equate necessarily to OnlyFans? And then, I don't know, Brent and I talked about it, and we thought, well, you know what? We've talked about our experiences in detail on the air. Maybe let's show it to them in content and videos, and kind of, our idea at the beginning was, let's have people be able to follow our adventures in the swinging lifestyle. And it sounded like a great idea. But once you get into OnlyFans, you find out, like, you really need to be more set up than just, hey, we're at a swingers party, let's pull out a camera and shoot. Those shoots don't come out so well. But that's how we started into it. Because we started talking to millions of people about swinging and said, well, fuck it.
So you get down to Tampa, right?
Yeah.
And all of these people just start coming out of the woodwork, or?
This was social media, so people were like, oh my God. I mean, I've heard a few guys say that during some of I was interviewed on the Stern show about a swinging experience that I had, and it was a very long interview, and there were guys saying that they pulled over to the side of the road and jerked their meat on the way to work to my voice.
Nice.
So
I can reach the horn.
yeah, so then after Brent left the Stern show, people wanted to know what I look like naked. I mean, we did like 2 years of talking about it and me being on the show here and there, and they put some pictures up of me on the website, not nude, clothed, and people wanted to see what I look like naked and wanted to see me having sex. So
The people said, can I have some more?
yeah.
And you said, more?
I'm like getting
You
these
want more?
I'm getting these like DMs on Instagram. You should start an OnlyFans, and I didn't know if it was just trolls and haters or if like people were actually interested. And then I had so many people saying that I said, well, let's give it a shot.
Very cool, very cool. So, how has the experience been since you, sort of rolled out this more public persona of yours?
Crazy. It's been like lots and lots of up and downs and lots of learning. So before doing this, I did commercial real estate for like 14 years. I mean, I negotiated leases. I did a lot of stuff like that. So, and worked for other people. Moving from that, an 8 to 5, to working for yourself had its own challenges because I'd have to wake up and start working without anybody telling me to stop working, without the fear of getting fired. And the first year was kind of easy because of the Stern show. We had a lot of money coming in, so I didn't have to do anything pretty much, like at all. Promotion, nothing. And I woke up one day and go, ooh, this isn't going to last forever. I better do something. So I had to learn real quick. Thank you, Lupe. I had to learn really quick how to like promote and do stuff so I could keep it going.
Once you quit that 9 to 5, you're working 24/7.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Well, that's why, I mean, I knew that. I had a friend who her parents had a restaurant. I knew that in the restaurant business it sucked. But I did not realize just having your own business at all was so difficult, because I'm wondering on Saturdays and Sundays, what happened with this? What happened with that? I find myself, it wasn't the case the first year, but now I find myself working like 6 to 7 days, and 10 to 12 hours a day. And I'm like, well, fuck. I still don't want to be at work at 8 a.m., but still, it sucks sometimes. It's hard. I shouldn't say it sucks. It doesn't suck. It's just more difficult than people realize. Like the promotion alone, it's like 90% 90%, 95% of the job.
95% of the
If
job.
all I had to do was get naked and fuck, I'd be fine.
Yeah, but you can't. Like, I mean, you can, but that's just not it.
No.
Like, there's so much more that goes into it. I
Oh,
tell
yeah.
people that all the time. I'm like, yeah, you can have like a beautiful girl can be the nastiest girl in the world, but if nobody knows she's the nastiest girl in the world, nobody's gonna give her any money. So no matter how much you do, because people do this on a day-to-day basis, there are millions of women out there that are way wilder, way nastier than the top girls that are out there, but they don't have the same promotion or the same team behind them pushing them.
You're saying the top grossing girls that are being successful on OnlyFans.
Of course, yeah. So yeah, you need that.
true. It's
Promotion
true.
is everything, and it does take work. It does take time.
The other thing too that I knew this from the beginning because there's a lot of marketing involved in my commercial real estate job is in the beginning I did like tasteful nudes. I knew that I wasn't going to continue to do tasteful nudes and make money.
Fine art nudes.
Because I knew I could from the people who wanted me to get naked from the Stern Show. I charged $50 a month, like the first 2 months for just tasteful nudes, and I did really good. But I knew like I couldn't just start at straight up sex because I knew that then they'd want more and more and more.
You have to work them into that.
That's like,
because of your platform that you had initially.
and
Yeah.
and I think that like with a lot of people, even if you didn't initially have a platform, you gotta change it up. If they've seen you do military position like 20 times with one guy, maybe you need to add a girl in now. So you're always having to like kind of switch it, move up a little bit.
Right.
Got anal coming next month. Kind of scared.
Where's the
Blue.
That's on this podcast today. That is your job. You want to get familiar real quick with a couple of buttons?
No, just yell out the colors. I'll get
No. I need you to hit the green one for me. Hit the green one,
I love that.
and then hit the other green one. The teal.
that teal one.
Oh my bad. Teal, your favorite color.
That was easy.
That's mine.
I heard a couple sound bites that on the radio the other day, and I was like, "Oh my god, they're so good." We got to get them in.
I like that. Yeah, we got to change ours up. But just so now you know.
Okay.
So you touched on this a little bit, Katelyn. So how important was it for you to have a platform initially starting off versus do you think that knowing what you know now, do you think that you could start from zero and be just as successful?
No, I couldn't even have been half successful starting from zero. I've talked to a lot of women who want to start an OnlyFans, who have started an OnlyFans and didn't have a platform before. And it's not that you can't do it. It's just a lot of work, a lot of work and content. And I mean, it's like that with anybody, but again, if you're still trying to build from scratch, a lot of times girls got to do a free page. My favorite is when somebody who nobody knows who they are, just like a random person who's a swinger wants to start an OnlyFans, and they're like, but I'm not going to show my face. And I'm like,
You
well,
got 6 months. You got 6 months. and
like,
you're gonna
don't
be
put a
done.
whole lot of work into it because you're not going to get a whole lot of payback.
You really have to have a whole persona if
Yes.
you're going to do that. And you've got to really stand out. I mean,
Yeah.
it doesn't make sense for 99% of people.
Yeah, you gotta have you have to have something, like maybe you're like the anal queen, maybe you like doing DP. You gotta have some gimmick.
If
A
you-
personality.
Yeah, if you want to
Yeah.
be at the top. But I think a lot of these swingers that want to start OnlyFans, I think they don't really see it as a way that they could capitalize on it completely. I think they see it as a way that they could supplement their already pre-existing income, and
Or a
that's why they
side
don't
hustle.
want. Yeah, so like a couple reached out to us on Twitter and they were like, "Hey, we just started our OnlyFans and we want to know how we grow." And I said, "Well, because you're brand new, collabs are going to be the only way that you're going to
Yep.
get out there because you have no footing in any market, not on
Yep.
Reddit. You have no Twitter presence. You have nothing that showcases who you are until you go and get verified through another couple."
Yep.
You know what I mean? So it's like when I look at people coming in and they're like, "Oh yeah, I'm just gonna jump in and start." I'm like, you better be coming in with a media strategy, or it's gonna take you a little
or
while.
the expectation that that you're going to have to spend some serious dollars on ads.
Facts. Well, I mean, even then, it's remarkably hard to spend money on ads that convert in the adult content space.
Yes.
So it's not like you can just be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah.
spend $50,000 on this.
It takes 8 to 11 impressions before somebody sees, you know, some sort of real estate online, and they have enough trust to actually, you know, press that buy button, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
So you can do it. It's just really difficult, I think. And you know what I think is really impressive is that Lupe and Misha have been doing this for a while now, and they're still doing well. They're still getting like content that people want to see. And I think one of the hardest things is how do you take this and prolong it? Like, it's great for a year or two, but how do you make this consistent money for multiple years when people have seen so much of your content already? And that's something I need to have a private conversation with you two about, because you guys have done a fabulous job. I think a lot of it's just hustling and networking, but
It is.
It's what it seems like. But I we'll get together on the details.
I'll give you the viewers a little bit of it. It is a authenticity that you can cultivate over the course of developing your brand. And I think Lupe and Misha, the brand, and the authenticity that comes with the brand is what people cling to when they tune in or when they subscribe. So you get the sex and you get the nasty, but if you're really tuned in, then you also pay attention to the fact that on our story we're cat fighting or arguing in the middle of the mall. We're doing something like that, and I'm posting these things, you know. So if you're really following us, it's like, okay, well, I see these different pieces, and I think that a lot of content creators only give out this much of them out of fear of if I give out too much, then I don't have anything private left.
Right.
And I personally, like, when I look at content, I look at it with the Marilyn Monroe approach. You know what I mean? Like, the people is all we have.
Yep.
They're what validate the decisions that we make, right? So we want to keep those people entertained, and if we keep those people entertained, they'll continue to validate the decisions that we're making because it's entertaining,
Yep.
and that validation is by paying to be a part of it.
Well, I think that's what you have to do now, because people aren't interested in what you want to show people. People want to know what the nitty gritty is, you know, and I think that that's why a lot of the shock jock radio did so well. I mean, you know, Bubba and Howard, like, they got people on the air who work for him and got their real stories out there. That's what people are really interested in.
Yeah.
People want to know what you're doing in your real life.
Yeah,
and
it's not the Playboy centerfold; it's the girl next door.
Right. And even in the Playboy centerfold, how much more money would they have made if they could have taken a little bit more of a peek into their life? You know,
Oh,
they'd
yeah.
have even more of a following. And we talked about this last time I was here. They put out, Lupe and Misha put out this TikTok that was fantastic, like a month ago. And I'm sure for Misha it wasn't fun at the time, but
Not so much.
you know, you guys can go look at it at Lupe and Misha's TikTok. Is at Lupe and Misha?
Yep, Alabama.
It's fucking awesome. They get into an argument. She's legit pissed. You can see she's legit pissed. And I never watched a TikTok for longer than like 5 seconds. And this shit was like a few minutes. And my husband and I watched that shit like 3 times. And we were like taking notes going, I can't wait to tell them how great this content is. Like, I'm sorry that you guys had to go through this. But thank you for sharing, because it's a story. People want to follow a story. They don't want a little bit of you. Just here's your
Yeah.
pussy. Here's your tits. They want to know you. They want the story. That's what's interesting.
Facts.
I
Very
think it's
true.
great.
Facts.
And too many people are like, oh, swinger couples are just perfect. Lots of swingers and OnlyFans who are like, no, we're so great. And in many situations, you probably are better than a lot of vanilla couples, but it's not all peaches and roses all the time. You get into arguments.
In the
Yeah.
middle of the airport.
And sometimes swingers get into arguments and OnlyFans people get into arguments with their partner while you're hooking up.
Facts.
And it's kind of uncomfortable.
It is kind of uncomfortable. We've never done that. Wait, we've done that one. We haven't done that one time.
No. We've been around other people that were
Yeah,
doing
I
that
would
around
say
us.
Did that make you feel uncomfortable at the moment?
Yes.
I'll be honest. I don't. You know, I'm gonna be honest. So I'm gonna be.
I'm sure your focus
Oh.
was in other places.
Yeah, the only time I really get uncomfortable is when it starts getting physical. If they're arguing,
I've never seen that shit.
I can respect that. I'm like, listen, get him, my boy, get him. I'll be rooting for the dude until he say some dumb shit.
It depends. It depends. If we know them, like, then, and we know how they are, it's like, whatever, they'll figure it out. But if it's like someone new and we don't really know them and we don't know where it's gonna go,
That's kind of weird.
then
Scary.
it can be a little uncomfortable because I'm like, should we bounce? Do we just like wait this
It's
out? Like, what do we
uncomfortable
do?
for her. For me, I'm always like, man, let's just chill. Let's see how this shit goes. It's another story I'm gonna tell somebody one day. Let's see what the fuck happens.
Now to me, it is kind of like, it's kind of interesting. I mean, I don't wish anybody to get into an argument, but sometimes I'm like, well, fuck, I'm glad that ain't me right now. It could be, and it ain't. It's not me. I'm like, fuck yeah, we're fine. We're doing great.
We're doing great over here.
Yeah, it makes you kind of. I'm gonna be honest about it. Kind of makes you feel a little bit better. You're like, fuck yeah, they argue too. Yes,
We're not the only ones.
Listen, I tell people all the time when they start arguing around us, I'm like, look, feel comfortable to argue because in about 15 minutes when she pissed me off, I'm gonna say some real shit. You're gonna be looking at me like, are you serious, Lupe? Fuck yeah, fuck her. I love my wife, but sometimes it's fuck her.
I love my wife.
I
I
do.
mean, I feel the same way about you.
I know. Listen, y'all want to hear
Feeling
so
is mutual.
sweet.
So
So much love in this room.
Caveat. So we're in the airport. Y'all heard me drop
Why
that
you
little dime
gotta-
earlier.
why you gotta
We in the
tell the
airport,
story?
right? So we're in the airport, and we go get food. First of all, there's limited options of food in this airport. We get food. I get a burger. We go to this little Spanish restaurant, Latin restaurant, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna eat my burger at the bar. I'm gonna order a drink. They're like, oh, unfortunately, you can't have your food from another restaurant at our bar. Cross contamination. So now she's tight. So she didn't order some shit she ain't like, some Thai
At the
food.
airport, where it's all like open with restaurants, you can't eat at somebody else's fucking bar.
Which airport?
But I got food. and
O'Hare,
I didn't
Chicago,
like
O'Hare.
it. So I was actually gonna order from this place.
Was this
And
place
a
like
drink.
gluten-free, soy-free,
Oh, hell
vegan?
no.
Like, then what did they worry about
No,
cross-contamination?
it's actually just stick up their ass.
I don't even know what that means, but
So-
It means like cross-contamination generally means that if you're allergic to like soy or gluten,
no.
or
She
something
said
like
it was
that.
a health violation.
Health code
What?
violation
That's
because
what
of
she
cross
said.
contamination. That's exactly
I'm
what she
calling
said.
cap.
Something.
It was
stupid.
cap, but listen,
Cap and
so
ass and ass
she
hose.
says this and she gets pissed and I get pissed, so we're both pissed. But I'm like, in my head, I'm thinking, all right, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna smash. In my head, I haven't said it out loud yet, but in my head, I'm like, all right, so I need about 3 minutes to smash this burger, and we can stay here. That's what I'm thinking in my head. I'm like, and I can get this margarita. She can get her food.
You didn't say it out loud.
I didn't say it out loud
Okay.
yet. Cause I look at her and she has a look of "fuck this bitch" on her face, and I said, "Oh well, then, no matter what I do next, we're leaving." I'm like, "We're leaving." So I say, "Babe, what do you want to do next?" I said, and I said it firmly because I was like, whatever her move is, if she says, "I want to,"
That's not what you said.
I said,
You said, "Are you gonna order something from here or nah?"
"That's what I said."
That's what you
exactly.
said.
Are you gonna order something from here or not?
And I'm already pissed off, and I can tell he's pissed off and ready to leave. I'm like, in my head, again, not saying it out loud. I'm like, why would I order something from here? One, because they're rude, and two, because he's pissed off. Like, no, I'm not ordering something from here. We're fucking bouncing.
So we leave. As we're leaving, right? So I had been eating the burger and I had napkins on the thing. She takes the napkin and she just throws it on the thing, and I'm like,
It was a little aggressive. I probably shouldn't have done
"So
that.
you gonna be petty as fuck out here and just make us look like we just savages? We not doing that. I'm black. We not doing that. We're gonna leave with class and dignity." So I clean up the shit, but now I'm pissed. I'm
But it
like,
was your napkins. It wasn't mine.
yeah. So that's why I didn't understand why you was throwing my napkins back on the counter. Like I was the one upset with the people. I'm like, bro, why you throwing my shit on the counter?
You're throwing your husband under the bus.
That's how I
who happens to be a person of color.
That's exactly how I felt.
And you look like the white girl next door.
That's exactly
Like
how
you
I
could have totally
But-
gotten
but it
away from
literally-
just being a bitch
but
and
it
not
literally
putting it on
wasn't
Lupe.
like
But
that.
Lupe can't get away with that shit.
That's how
But it
I
wasn't
felt.
like that. I just like put it a little. It
No,
was, and
no,
I
bro.
took my food with me. I didn't leave my food behind.
For her, she put it a little. What the rest of the world saw was the napkin bounce a couple of times across the counter. I'm like, yeah. So in my mind, I'm like, you really just gonna do that like that? Like, yeah. And I in my head, I felt like she was like, yeah, say something to my nigga so he can cuss you out. I'm like, I don't want to cuss him out. I'm okay. I just want to leave peacefully.
It's like when your girl like says something, you're like, oh, she's gonna get me into a fight.
That's how I felt. Exactly how I felt. So now I'm hungry and I'm salty. So we get down. So we walk back, right?
I'm salty.
To the other side because there was a bar down there that looked like it was pretty cool. So we walk back and we stop at the thing at the host stand, and she grabs the menu and she's looking at the menu. And I said,
Nope, that's not what happened.
"Go ahead, what happened there?"
We went up to them and asked them if we could bring our food in or if they had food. Because some bars, if they serve food, they won't allow you to bring your own food. So it didn't look like they had food at that bar. So we asked them, and she said, yeah, we have food. And I said, oh, okay, can I see a menu? Because I still need to eat something. So I was going to look at the menu real quick. This man starts rushing me. Well, you going to get something? Well, are we going to go inside? I'm like, no, you still have a burger to eat. You can't bring it in there. Like, why are you rushing me? Like, we have 2 hours until our flight. 2.
Yeah, but I have already now.
Why can't I look at the menu for 2 seconds?
I'm gonna tell you why. Okay, because in my mind, I had already started eating my burger at the bar. Okay, so now I got a half-eaten burger in my bag. In cold, and I don't want to have eaten burger.
But
in the bag.
literally,
Like, look at your face. That is not
No,
face.
but
But hold on. So
Literally racing home from Burger King to make sure you eat it hot. How am I still popping in the microwave?
So by my question of asking, are you going to get something from here, is to know how much time I have between you wanting to, like, her reading the menu. Yes, I'm going to order something from here, and be going to this table over here to the left so that I can scarf this burger down while it's still hot.
Okay, as like I'm gonna play like the counselor here.
I like that.
Okay.
Talk to his therapist.
So this is the 2 things that I've found so far, and with Lupe, and only because Lupe is the one who said stuff. I don't know, like maybe this would apply to you too. I'm not sure, but you said you got to that initial bar where they were like, oh, the whole cross contamination, and you had all these thoughts in your head of a plan, but you didn't share the plan.
I didn't share the plan.
And then the second time that you were talking about that half-eaten burger, you also had a plan and you didn't share it.
Facts.
So what I've learned, because I'm the same way, I always have, you've hung out with me and party, and I'm like, all right, we're in 20 minutes, we're going here. And
Yep,
then we're
facts.
doing this, if everybody's like, hey. And I always announce my plans. So even with my husband, I'm like, all right, here's the plan. I'm going to take a shower. I'm making us our morning shake. I'm working out, and then I'm doing this. He didn't ask. I don't need to tell him. It doesn't even matter. But he knows. So if there's anything in his head that he's wondering, like, well, when the fuck am I getting my shake?
Facts.
He knows.
I promise at this point I will start to announce my plan. As soon as it comes to my head, I'm like, bam, I got a plan.
What do you think about this plan, babe?
Zach comes to me like, I got a motherfucking plan. Okay, stop. What the fuck you doing? I got a plan. Here's what I'm thinking.
That would be nice.
That's all I needed to hear.
Because
calling Cap.
Because in that moment when I looked at that menu and you were rushing me, I was like, there's literally a table as close as Jack is to go sit at to eat. I was going to grab the menu that's 10 steps and take it over to the table so you could eat. I was going to look at the menu.
So you had a plan too that you didn't discuss. See,
well, I didn't really have time because he was like, well, I'm going to order something.
I ain't gonna lie.
So does this TikTok get picked up at this point?
No,
Is
no,
this
no.
when the TikTok begins?
I ain't gonna lie. No,
this
this
was a
TikTok
different
was completely different. This is
Well,
when
then, we're just going back and forth.
It's not,
No, you
it's
did
not
it.
my
Loud as
place.
can be.
You'll
in the
know
airport.
why, because of the topic. It's so not my place to talk about this TikTok. I was even like, I wanted to actually tell them how awesome it was when I saw them. And even then I was like, I know them well enough. I'm just going to say it. I was like, you probably got like 10 times more views on your TikTok than likes, because I didn't know what to do. I was like, this shit's great content, but do I want to like it? Like, am I being a dick liking this?
The comments were interesting, not going to lie.
I gotta go look at this.
Were
TikTok.
they dicks? Were they
Some
bad?
of them were dicks. Some of them were
I didn't even
fine.
read the comments on those.
Oh, I looked at them.
What did it say?
There's tons of them. Go check them out. I'm not going to tell you on here.
Yeah, they're probably a lot of the ones that say the same thing about me. You know what I do with those fuckers? They're never going to say anything nice to you. So you know what I do?
That's what I figured.
I go in there and I block. Would you like to block from all accounts? Well, yes, sir. I would like to block from all accounts. And fuck you, because guess what? You being on there who are not going to ever buy my content because you hate me. You're talking mad shit about me. All you're going to do is make me feel bad about myself daily. So if you don't like me, goodbye.
I'll just leave the comments in there.
Yeah.
My girl actively removes her male followers because she wants to be able to display better metrics to companies that may pay her to promote shit.
That's
So if you're a female,
smart.
right, and you have a social media following of mostly women, you're a girl that can sell to girls.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
If you're a female that has a 50-50 split, then you're gonna and you have an OnlyFans or you have other spicy links, then you're gonna have a lot more success in selling, sexy content to them.
Yep.
So I think that you two reshared a photo of my girl on her birthday, possibly.
I think so. Yeah.
Was that on IG?
Yeah, on
yeah, I think it was
Instagram.
me. Yeah.
And she's like, oh, I
Oh,
was
no.
wondering why I got like 50 followers in a day.
I'm so
I removed
sorry.
all of them. And
I'm
he's
sorry.
like, why would you remove those followers? And she's like, because I don't want, because they're there for one thing.
I'm sorry.
Facts.
But that's a smart strategy.
I never
if
thought
you're
of it that
trying
way.
to do that. I mean, like, when I promote my stuff, I promote it to men, like 21 to 55.
I was going to say 18 to 35.
Yeah, like I don't know. I don't know. I feel like 21-year-olds have a little bit more money than 18, and also
100%.
I'm like I get weird. I don't know if it's because we were on the certain show and like the whole like a little bit more of a public figure status. I'm using my real name. Like I know 18's of age, but I'm sorry, I don't really think you're an adult till you're 21. So I generally try to do like 21. I mean, and everybody's cool. Everybody, whatever they do is fine. But I do like the 21 to 55, and I think it does pretty well. But like with I'm sure she does this, but there's some things that I want to promote that are more female based that my followers aren't going to care about.
Right.
So what I do is I'm just going to use like the promotion, and you promote it to females.
Right.
So, I'm not necessarily trying to gain followers from it. I want them to buy this shit so I can make money off of it.
Facts.
Fair.
So you
So-
spend $30, maybe you make 400 now.
From a lead generation perspective, right, for driving actual traffic to your subscription sites, like social media is so important because it allows you to be top of mind in your like ideal consumer's mind.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you're a beautiful lady trying to attract men, right, and you do that promotion, then all of a sudden you're going to be like essentially dumping gasoline on the fire. That
Yeah.
would be your content.
Yeah.
Right.
Definitely.
And I think that's something that Lupe, and I'll say that Lupe is probably the machine that's driving a lot of the, I'd say the consistency in the content that the two of you create. Because every single time I talk to this man, he's like, I got a new strategy. I got a new idea.
I have to
Totally.
say something. So I was talking about this with my husband when we left last time. And the thing about Lupe is you'll meet a lot of people in OnlyFans. Sorry, women, but mostly it's the men coming up with like, okay, all these ideas. I want to do this and I want to do that and I want to do this. And most of it, it's great. I'm like, you're an amazing idea generator, but they just don't know how to go to the next step. They can generate the idea, but they don't know how to make it happen. Lupe comes up with these ideas. And I'm sure Misha helps too. I only know because I talked to Lupe and he's like I'm sure they work together on a lot of stuff. So I don't want to discount you. But Lupe comes up with an idea and he figures out how to get that shit done. And he does it. Like he's not just a dreamer, he's a doer. And it's very rare to find that. Even the doers usually don't have big dreams. He does, and as soon as he comes up with that dream, he literally like the next day starts taking steps to make it happen. And so to be honest, that's why like I really enjoy being around them. I feel like a lot of what they do and say and who they are kind of rubs off when I'm around them, and it helps me get more excited and more like, okay, I got this, and actually do.
Yeah, I mean, everybody has the ability and the potential to actually make it happen, but how many of those people are going to actually follow through and execute on the vision?
It's rare because it seems, in fairness to most people, and it seems scary. Okay, these are huge aspirations. How am I? Little Katelyn, how am I going to go? Not that I'm little, but
Little kid.
figuratively. How am I going to make this happen? And it's fucking scary. And when you really get down, once you start getting to out of the dreaming phase and doing phase, it's fucking scary.
The nitty gritty.
Facts.
And it's not even necessarily expensive. It's just scary.
It is
And
scary.
also, you have to learn. And, I remember thinking, you do high school, college, and then you're done. I don't have to ever learn anything. And I didn't actually do that. I enjoy learning new things. But you have to, to keep your brain agile,
Facts.
to get your dreams done. Like, you have to keep learning.
Yep.
You wouldn't be here you're constantly learning. Okay, what's the best lighting? What's the best way to produce this video?
Yeah, it's funny you say that because I feel like consistently a lot of people forget that. Like you get so caught up in regular day-to-day life, right? Like, all right, we got to go to work. I got to make money. But you forget that life, when you were at your best, when you were younger, you were learning things. You know what I mean? You were constantly, you were in school, you were learning. Those were the best
You were
years.
using your brain. Your brain is
Consistently.
a muscle just like every part of your body.
Exactly.
You have to exercise your brain all the time. And
Yep.
there's this, you guys might not know who she is, but Mary Lou Henner, she was in Taxi, and she's older now. But she was in a bunch of stuff. And she said, Brent worked with her, and she had so many great things. This chick had a kid when she was like 50. Herself.
Okay.
Like, or 45. Like
artificial
crazy.
insemination.
No, like
She had a baby totally like herself. And this chick would be working on a radio show, a movie, and she was a mom and like wife. It was crazy. So she says, by all means, keep on moving. And she means that physically and mentally, you have got to. She says that in order, her basically trick to staying young as she gets older, and she looks fabulous. Eating well, yes, but you have to constantly learn.
Yeah.
Constantly.
Agree.
Or then that's how you also make sure you don't get Alzheimer's. And shit.
Exactly. Your brain is always creating new pathways. In my mind, your brain is always creating new pathways. One. And two, if you constantly challenge yourself to learn something new, you're never going to be left behind. You're never going to be stuck asking questions of like what, when, where, and how, because you're constantly in a place where your brain is malleable and it's open to trying and looking at new particular options that could come your way and be more beneficial.
So that's another thing. I just thought of this in the last couple of weeks, is learning actually opens up so many other opportunities for you. So imagine you decide, you know what, I want to learn, I don't know, AI, because that's new now, or whatever on Coursera.
Mm-hmm.
And you decide that you're just going to go on there just for fun. Out of nowhere, someone's like, hey, I need somebody to, we were just talking about this earlier, I need somebody to handle my Twitter page. And you're like, well, fuck, I've been learning about AI. I can program this AI to handle your Twitter page. Yep. And because you decided to do that on your own free time, now you're getting this extra money for doing it.
Yep. And it's laws of attraction. When you start working
Oh my
towards
God,
something,
yes, law of attraction.
it will start coming. It's just
The universe.
the universe works
Think
in your
and
way.
Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill.
That is I live by that book. I live by that.
We never
book.
had this conversation.
No, but I live by
No,
that
but
book.
So do we.
Yeah, that's
We started experimenting with what they said to do in that book.
Yep.
Before we went to LA, and we went to LA, and then a year later. So I swear to God, Brent's like, in 1 year, I want to work on the Howard Stern show. Okay, great. Less than a year later, and we did it. We followed all that stuff and Think and Grow Rich and everything. Less than a year later, he gets a phone call, and he got a job with the Howard Stern show, and we're moving to New York.
Yep. That's how people
It's
underestimate.
not magic.
No, it's not magic.
Work.
It's work.
Fucking hard
It's work. But the thing is with Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, when you're thinking to grow rich, when you're waking up every morning with the thought process of what can I do to reach, and by rich, it's not monetary rich.
Right.
By rich, he means what am I doing to reach the goal that I have set for myself.
Rich can be love. It can be happiness, family. Whatever.
Exactly.
Lifestyle.
So, lifestyle. So what am I doing to actively achieve that goal, whatever that goal is? And that's what the richness is what am I actively doing every day? Even if it's not a ginormous step, today I didn't get up early, but because I didn't get up early, I'm going to work extra hard over here. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Or I got up early today, and because I got up early, now I'm going to do a little bit extra because I got some extra time. It's all about every time you either lose or win, you do a little bit more.
Also, the whole losing part, like, I love his Thomas Edison reference, which I know a lot of people reference, but it's so fucking true, is you have to fail to figure out how to win.
Facts.
And people stop at the first failure.
Yes.
You are never, ever, ever going to succeed in life if you stop at your first failure. In fact, the way that you can be the best you can possibly be is by having 100 to 200 or 500 failures.
Fail as much as you
People,
can.
But use
people
it
on
as a
social
lesson.
media will post 10 videos and then get discouraged because they all flopped. I know people that post 60 videos on social media and they get discouraged because it flopped. But the person that's putting out 60 leads is going to generate a lot more potential opportunity for themselves than the person doing 10.
Exactly.
And instead of like it becomes a spiral if you say, "Oh my God, I'm such an idiot! I can't believe I did that." Like that type of a thought process for failing.
Yeah.
Instead, you go, "Okay, well, what did I do in this case that I could change and look at it as an experiment? This isn't life or death. mostly.
Exactly.
Like, look at
Hopefully.
hopefully, look at it as an experiment and just go, okay, well, I tried that, it didn't work. Now I'm gonna maybe try the same thing, just a little different. And you cannot get onto yourself for failing or fucking up. What you have to do is go, what lesson can I learn from this?
Every time.
So, in the same vein as Napoleon Hill, Napoleon Hill wrote a few books, right? So there's this guy, his name's Russell Brunson. He's like the biggest Napoleon Hill fan ever, but he created a platform called ClickFunnels. ClickFunnels is an entire marketing strategy. But I recently had the pleasure of attending Funnel Hacking Live, which is his conference that he puts on. So he had the first original copy of this book that Napoleon Hill wrote called Outwitting the Devil. Have you ever read it?
No, I'm gonna have to do that.
So Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon
I
Hill.
know we're live, but I gotta put this in my notes right now so I don't forget.
Listen, you know what? Don't even read it. Listen to it.
So Outwitting the Devil was written, it was his second book that was written by Napoleon Hill after Think and Grow Rich, but
It was not released.
it was not released. It was put out way too early. I mean, it had to have been released, like the mid to later 1800s?
No, it didn't get released until after he passed away. His wife released it after he
Yeah.
died. But I think that was in the 1930s, actually.
Yeah, so when he wrote it, he was like, if I put this out, like, because of the let's call it the cultural climate of how things used to be,
Yeah.
a century ago, damn near, he was like, this book is too controversial. But in the book, he breaks out the concept of drifters versus non-drifters, and the devil is in the individuals that are drifters. They have shiny object syndrome. They go from one shiny object to another. They say, ooh, here's a strategy. I'm going to try this out. They try the strategy, right? Like, take in this example where we're talking about being successful on these subscription sites. Like, I ran ads and they didn't work. Well, did you run 10 ads or did you run one ad, right?
Right.
He said, he expanded in that outwitting the devil is by being a non-drifter. Every day you wake up with purpose. Every day you wake up with the tenacity to follow through on your goals so you can
I love
think and
that.
grow rich.
Exactly. And
I
that's
love that.
so in that same thing, when you listen to it, he actually outlines a lot of the things that causes drifting. And you start realizing that a lot of these things are put in our way. So it's like, you listen to him say, the devil per se, and he defines out the energies. It's not so much of good versus bad versus it is a balance, but you can tip that balance in your favor by finding, new ways to challenge yourself and then sticking with those.
Okay, yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's a constant struggle. That's the good and bad. The good and bad isn't, or the good versus evil, the devil versus the light, or dark versus the light, the devil versus God. It's not that. That's an internal battle that's consistently happening within every single human being on this planet. Now, what you choose to do with that battle every day is what makes you either a drifter or somebody who is thinking and growing rich. And by thinking and growing rich, you're waking up every morning and you're thinking literally of ways to actively reach your goal. And then not only are you thinking of them, you're taking the necessary steps to make part of those things a reality, because everything is a step. You don't leap and jump into things. Typically you step into them one thing at a time.
So, just because Napoleon Hill uses older, good versus evil, devil, that type of stuff, older type terminology. So, what you're saying basically is like you can wake up and choose to watch TV all day, or wake up and choose to work towards your goals. And that's like the devil and angel type thing.
Get
and
in the gym, do the hard shit.
You've got to so that's what happened to me at the beginning of the year. I've lost a lot of weight since the beginning of the year. And I just got into this mindset where I was like, I'm going to do this. Like, I don't care. I'm going to do it. And it fucking sucks some days. You wake up and you don't want to fucking do it. But like, I am on a mission.
Yeah.
And so waking up and like getting your day, like getting shit into your day.
Yeah, I feel like
that's awesome.
Like I personally, and she'll tell you this, is I wake up with it most of the time with a certain vigor, because I'm so determined to get to the place of where we want to be. Like I can't sleep in because I don't feel comfortable yet. You know what I mean?
Right.
I haven't bought a new bed yet personally because I don't want to feel comfortable in my bed. I haven't earned the right
Well,
to
you're-
sleep in
okay.
He
here.
doesn't
What?
want a good night's sleep.
I'm reading
I
a
haven't
book right
earned
now.
that sleep yet.
I'm reading a book right now about finances, and it's really more. It's called Financial Feminist. It's more geared towards women, but it's for everybody really, because our emotions with money are that they're emotions. Like our
Yeah.
relationship with money are emotions, and most of them are built from when you were a child.
Track that
So-
shit back before you were 10.
There's a balance here, Lupe. So like I totally understand you going, well, I haven't earned this. I don't deserve it. But also you have to, which I know you guys do, but you have to also do good stuff with yourself, for yourself, and reward yourself.
Of course.
But
But if you get comfortable in that bed, you want to sleep in.
oh, I see what you're saying.
I
I thought you meant buying stuff.
Nah, like I okay, so I love my toys. I love that my wife enjoys buying things that make her happy. But I also know that there are a lot of places that we aren't able to go yet. Like I want to stay in the Masoni room in Bibelos in France, and I want to, go on African safaris and look at elephants and shit in a very
Just
safe
don't
way.
shoot them.
No. I'm talking about like in a
Okay.
helicopter.
I thought you were
Okay,
talking
got
I
about.
ain't even trying to be on the ground with these motherfuckers. I'm trying to fly over these things. you know what
Smart.
I'm
Those
saying?
fuckers who are down there trying to shoot them and they get eaten. I'm
Yeah,
like,
nah, I'm not
I'm
that
like,
guy.
serves you fucking right,
Listen.
because first off, you're an idiot, and second, that's kind of fucked.
Yeah, nah, I'm not.
Here I was just thinking you wanted a 300 ZX.
I do want that too. No, I want to do things that, like I said.
I need to be by the board so I can do the.
Yeah.
Right?
Go ahead, it's green.
I
You
love
already
it.
killed it. All right, you guys have. All right, you guys got me drinking now. This is only the 4th time I've drank since January 1.
Nice.
So this has been like, this was a very big deal. And when I thought I was going to be the only one drinking, and thank you guys for joining me.
You're welcome.
I wasn't actually going to drink if I was the only one, because I'm like, who only drinks 3 times and then their 4th time in 4 months is
Me.
by themselves?
Me, actually, bacon. Yes, me.
One of the recurring themes on this podcast is that social media isn't hard. It's a game about consistency and frequency, and being consistent and frequent is hard. But if you can overcome that hurdle, you'll find success.
But when it's one of like the major things you have to do for work, it's not that hard.
Nah.
So
Like,
what I
for
read,
real.
what I read about Instagram is they haven't released their algorithms, but what they have released is if you want your content pushed, you have to do it 1 story, 1 post, and 1 reel a day. You can do a little bit more than that, but you don't want to oversaturate it, and then
I have
spam
a
it.
different perspective. I think that you could post 3 times a day on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, whatever, and that still isn't enough, because there's a different user that's on at 9 a.m. versus in the afternoon versus 9 p.m.
True.
So it really comes down to like just maximizing the amount of leads. Now, if your content is towing the line of the terms of service and somebody reports it, then that could have a negative impact on you. But if you're doing a good job of towing that line.
So have you found, and it might just balance out, or not balance out, but it still be good. Have you found that your current followers on social media, let's say you posted 6 times a day. There's been times where somebody posted so much that I unfollow them because I want to see other people's content.
Right.
Because it's just coming into my shit too much. And I've found, and now to your statement earlier, is it was only like a week or 2 that I looked at the statistics, and I saw that when I was posting a ton that I was losing people, but maybe if I went for a month or 2, the people I would have gained would be more than the people I lost.
I think that it really depends on your content needs to be a baseline level good.
Okay.
Right? Because whether it's YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, I get delivered a new video that's recommended for you, right? Not on the For You page, but it pops up in
On
just
your feed.
in the feed, right? And I watch, 2/3 of that video, and then I scroll. I'm gonna get delivered another video by them, right?
Okay.
The algorithm rewards creators that are posting consistently, and that's one of the ways in which they reward those creators. Now, I follow somebody like that, and then if I'm inundated with 6 feed posts in a row by that person, I'm like, oh, what the fuck is this? But that's not a creator problem. That's an algorithm problem.
Okay.
So
They shouldn't be doing that with the algorithms, is what you're saying. They shouldn't be seeing that much.
I think that that's how it should be. Now, is that the way that it actually is? Yes and no. It also depends on like the interaction that your account has with their account when they first follow. If they first follow you and they like all of your posts, then the next time that they log in, they're gonna get flooded with all of the most recent updates of your account.
What is your suggestion on the average that you would post on? Let's just stick with Instagram and TikTok. Out of curiosity, what do you think?
I think that the best, like for somebody that is, aspiring to build a following, would be once a day.
Okay.
If you post once a day at least, then you're going to be on the right track to, like, yeah, you're still going to have people that are going to unfollow you because they see your posts, they like your post. Maybe, they followed for Katelyn the person and not Katelyn the personality.
Okay.
So, if they're inundated and they see a bunch of those posts in their feed, then maybe they will unfollow.
So if you kind of have a following, because you were saying that you think that you could post more than 3.
Yeah.
So what do you think is the max?
Oh, that's a good question.
Like
I think that you have to
6,
have. I think that you have to have defined content pillars. So it's like I post educational content, I post recap content, and I also post either funny or quirky content.
So you got 3 different types of content that you could post once a day.
Exactly.
Okay.
At
So,
3
like,
different times a day. So I would say minimum.
One is gonna be like an outfit change transition video.
Okay.
One is gonna be being like, these are the top 5 ad mistakes that you're making with your Google ads.
Okay.
Right? There's 2 different demographics there.
Okay.
And then maybe the third one is like a couple's post or some, cute or corny shit.
Okay.
And it's like those are gonna resonate with different audiences.
Okay.
And in the vein of potentially losing followers, if they're gonna unfollow you, then they probably weren't gonna buy your content anyways. So
Yeah.
Very true.
Great point. Because if they're going to buy your content, they don't mind how many pictures and videos they see of you, right? They're like, oh, shit, give me more.
Exactly.
So I want to give Misha a chance to ask, from a female's perspective, are there any questions that you want to ask Katelyn while we have her here that girls may want to know?
Well, this is more of a specific question for you.
Okay.
And it's because I know it's a problem that you have more often than I think a lot of people, and it was because of the prior platform. What do you do about haters? Like, what do you do about people that are that much negativity? Like, how do you stay positive, and what do you do to kind of like alleviate that, I guess?
So, at the beginning, so it's kind of been going on for a couple of years. At the beginning, I really didn't know. And now I'm just kind of probably guessing too. I'm doing more stuff that helps me, not that it takes away any of the haters, but for me, I talked to you about this book called Radical Compassion, and I'm not going to get into it because it's too much, but basically I try to think of, well, what's going on in their life that they're so upset with me and that they hate me so much. And I know this sounds like it wouldn't work, but I try to actually I try to have compassion for and almost mentally give compassion and love to these people who hate me or say that they hate me. And I know it sounds like it wouldn't work, but honestly, it does. It makes me feel better by saying, you know what? I'm so sorry that I'm not saying it to them, just saying it to myself.
Mentally, yeah.
I'm so sorry that whatever happened to you or that you're going through or whatever is causing you to do that. And that's what's helped me. And I also have kind of made it a game with myself, like, oh, well, that's actually pretty funny. Like, fuck it, I've tried to I've tried to make it funny. I've tried to make games out of it. Like, yeah, well, that's what you think, and then I try to also have compassion for them. And that's what helps my mental state. And then, as far as like them actually posting and doing stuff, there's not much that you can do for a minute. You guys didn't see us for a while. I mean, months. I mean, we didn't leave our apartment, to be honest. We really, it was bad. Like, we didn't leave our apartment, and I made all my social media private, and I was like, I don't care. I don't care what I fucking have to do. I don't want to have to deal with this. I was in such, a state. And then
It's a lot.
It's just
Yeah.
been a lot for a long time. And I won't get into a whole lot of details, but let's just say that like they have been harassing and really going after and hurting my family and doxing them.
Devastating.
That has nothing to do with it and who has a completely different name than I do. So that was really tough, but that was all happened. I mean, it still happens, but when it was really affecting me, that was last year. And then this year, I'm just like, you know what? I either have to laugh at it or, like I said, give them compassion and just think like, there's got to be something going on here. And, you know, maybe there's not. And I'm not like, but they're hurting somewhere. Like, you're not
lashing
that
out for a
mean
reason. Yeah.
where some point in your life you weren't hurting.
No,
I guess it's like other people's opinions of ourselves as individuals are none of our business.
Right.
Yes.
Right?
True.
But at the same time, when it crosses that line of affecting those around you,
So that's my that's my whole thing is you know, you can come after, I mean, please don't. But people who come after me, it is what it is. I've chosen to use my real name on OnlyFans. I mean, it would have been stupid not to. I have like this whole personality on the Stern Show, and I'm not going to use my real name.
Yeah.
But it was also my married name, and I'm not saying that people couldn't figure out who I was before I got married. It's not that hard.
Yeah.
But you know, to be emailing my parents and texting them, like these people got my dad's cell phone number.
yeah, that's some weird shit.
Ridiculous.
Actually, they texted a picture of you eating me out in our kitchen, Lupe.
What?
That video that we did at my apartment. Yeah, so my dad got texted a picture of Lupe eating me out in my kitchen, which is fine. I don't really have a relationship with my dad anyway, so whatever. Good luck.
Yo!
But it wasn't just so you know, it wasn't just you. There was like 6 or 7 other
I'm just gonna let you
videos.
know right now that when we make the clip for this, that's going in it. I'm just letting you know right now.
There it is.
We're getting that's definitely making a clip.
Okay, so I have a question for you. So we've talked about this with Lupe and Misha before. So sometimes Misha specifically gets that stare. She'll be out at a grocery store, and somebody from across the few aisles over is like
Are you the
trying to figure it out, right?
Yep.
So my question to you, Katelyn, is have you been recognized out and about in real life?
That's a tough question though, because my husband was on the Stern Show and the Bubba Love Sponge show. I mean, he was on Bubba Love Sponge for 14 years on air and executive producer, like co-host and executive producer, and then he was senior producer and on air talent for Howard Stern. So if somebody looks at us, I'm assuming that they recognize him, or maybe both of us from the Stern Show. So like that one's tough. I don't think anybody has stopped me and recognizes me from porn who doesn't already know who my husband is.
Like, oh my God, you're Katelyn?
This might be interesting too. So before my voice or face or anything had anything to do with the Stern Show, nobody knew who the fuck I was. My husband and I would go out. We would go to a concert, let's say, we like heavy metal. So we would go to a heavy metal concert. And somebody would be like, oh my God, Brent, blah, blah, blah. And I could be there literally in shorts, which I was. Shorts, this short, my tits fucking like hitting my chin. Like I'm basically almost not naked, but I'm looking fucking good.
You're showing off the goods.
Right. They don't even recognize my existence because the people who are fans of Shock Jock Radio are fucking fans, dude.
Right.
Like, the reason why there's so many haters coming from that is because the line between, like, super fan and hater is this thin, and it depends on the day and what you say, because you're like, that's my boy. Why would he say that? I fucking hate you now. So, they want to talk in
wild.
detail. Like, I swear to God, I've stood there at least 100 times. I was fine with it. It's fine. But completely not even being talked to or even acknowledged, and asking Brent about like 5 or 6 different fucking segments within 20 years of each other that he did on air, and he's having to talk about it. So then as soon, like literally the next week, because we went to concerts like twice a week in New York. The next week after I'm on the air, somebody was like, Brent, oh my God, Katelyn too? And I'm like, what the fuck? How the fuck? What? Now you care?
You became a person.
I'm a human being. You want to know what I have to say? I mean, I have a lot to say, as you can tell tonight. And I would just stand there. I was like, fine, whatever, it's in between. It's fine. And then people were like, oh, Katelyn. I'm like, what? Fuck. So, no. Like, I don't know. I don't think so.
Gotcha.
Gotcha.
Well, very cool. Very cool. Well, Katelyn, thank you so much for being on the Only Pod with us.
Thank you for
It was
having me.
definitely a
course.
roller coaster of a ride of a story.
Yes, it was.
Yes.
And where can Katelyn? Where can the people find you?
So, on OnlyFans, I'm at Katelyn Hatley. Which there's a lot of different ways to spell Katelyn. So it's KATELYN HATLEY. And then Instagram and TikTok is Katelyn_Hatley. Wait, Twitter is Katelyn Hatley.
Gotcha.
God, and really, it was great when it was all at Katelyn Hatley until TikTok and Instagram fucking deleted my accounts.
Motherfuckers.
That fine line of the terms of service.
I know.
Well, I don't know that they do this anymore, but did you know that if enough people report your post, it doesn't fucking matter if your post, no, I don't think it's so much now, but before with Instagram, enough people fucking report your post, it doesn't matter if it goes against the rules or not. They don't care. You
I
can't
know.
appeal it.
Wild.
Nothing.
I know a number of girls that experience that.
That fucking sucks.
I've covered everything always, and there'll be just like a large group of people who just bomb you with that. And I think they've switched it now because I don't see that so much. I think they give you a chance to kind of appeal it, but yeah, I was like, fuckers.
Right? Damn. That fucking sucks.
Yeah.
All that work for a bunch of people that just are haters.
I had like
Fucking haters.
40,000 Instagram followers when they fucking deleted my shit. And
The
now I'm at
first time.
4,800.
So bad.
Hey, but everybody that's followed this new account is there for you.
There you go. It's
Very true.
Katelyn_Hatley.
Facts.
Well, Katelyn_Hatley, thank you so very much for your time on the Only Pod.
Yes,
Thank
yes, yes.
you for
Welcome,
having
welcome,
me.
welcome.
Jack Shoots Raw,
I'm Lupe.
Meet ya.
and we will catch you next time.